Right, yeah. The broadcast is
Good
live.
afternoon, Grand Rising, good evening, depending where you are joining us today from
That's
in the
right.
world. Please do take a second to like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform you are on. My name is Naamele Asantiama, and you are with us for the Mothering Sunday live series brought to you by Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa and Global Pan Africanism Network, whose vision is a United States of Africa. So, welcome on each of those platforms. Like I said, please do drop a message in the comments to let us know where in the world you are joining us from. It's always good to know who's watching and who we are connected with. So, if you're joining us for the first time, the basis of these real conversations is for me to speak to our sons, the men, the brothers, about their relationships with their mothers and how that relationship has influenced them in life in certain guises. And so today I am really thrilled to welcome our guest, Mr. Ken Gwira, who has many titles, but you can know him as the CEO of Woman is Key, which is a brand that we wholeheartedly support, especially as part of our Mothers Foundation Africa, and coming from the perspective of empowering the women to empower everybody else. But please do give Mr. Drea a warm virtual welcome to the platform. And I will sentimentally call him Uncle Ken. So welcome, Uncle Ken.
Hello, Nameli. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm well. The sun is shining here in the U.S., and so it's a good day.
Wonderful. So streaming with sunshine from the US, and I'm bringing sunshine from Ghana. So you're good. If you see sun nowhere else, know that we are sending you sunshine from where we are today. Um, so, Mr. Ken Greer, Uncle Ken, please do tell the audience a little bit about you in case they haven't seen the your bio that we posted when we sent out, because you're a very arty person. So please tell them a little bit about yourself to start with.
My name is Ken Gwira, and I'm an artist. And over the years, I've been carving and doing stuff, living life. And I'm the CEO of Woman is Key because it's one of the designs that I made in 1981, May 1981. And over the years, I didn't think too much about it, but then I realized after a while that it has a name, just like people have names. But how is what I'm doing helping the person for whom it is named? You know, so over time, I started to put it on T-shirts, on the mugs, and now the whole concept is that how to help women. And if you help a woman, you help the whole family. Actually, from my experience, so that's who I am. That's what I do. I try to let my art uh, show itself in other means so that it can benefit other people.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, and I do have some Women is Key T-shirts. I love the mugs that are out at the moment. So yeah, we'll have to drop a link for people to be able to patronize, to get those things. So do tell me, how would you describe your relationship with your mother?
With my mother, I would say it's good. Last week was my birthday. She called me and we chatted. Not on the day itself because I couldn't pick up the phone. So I would say
Okay,
it's good. But
okay.
what I think is good might not be good for the other person. As we were saying a few minutes ago, it's all about relationship. And
Hmm.
you don't necessarily have to go and ask the other person how good is that relationship. But a third party, like your wife, your husband, or a brother or friend,
Hmm.
can point you in the right direction in a way. Not always directly, because some, we don't want to hear the truth, but they'll say something. For example, somebody might say, "Oh, when was the last time you talked to your mom?" And I'm like, "Oh, are you saying that I haven't talked to her in a month?" There you go. There's your answer. your response of reacting going backwards is like, for example, if you had a cut, walking down the street and you bumped your knee or you have a bruise and somebody touches it, what's the feeling? The feeling is for you to go back. So you may not realize it, but as you go along in life, little things are teaching you stuff, but sometimes we just brush them aside. So sometime last year, somebody did ask me, "Oh, when was the last time you talked to your mom? Or you ought to have a better relationship with your mom." And that was my reaction. I went back like that. Now, upon reflection, not on the same day, of course, it takes time to sink in. I reflected and said, for me, it's good to talk to you in 1 month. If I don't talk to you in a year, I start the relationship right from there, but that doesn't really work. And that's from the way my upbringing was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how would you, or how has, yeah, that's the better way. How has the relationship with your mother influenced other relationships you have, especially the relationships you have with the women and girls in your life?
Okay. So let me tell you a story.
Okay.
When I was growing up, around the age of 7, I went to boarding school in England. So at the tender age of 7, I went to boarding school in England. And it was my mom who actually took me to the boarding school. So she was the last figure that I saw in my family before I went to that boarding school. So it's being affected by what happened rather than to specifically say the relationship. But if I tell you the story, then how I respond to the story is how the relationship, how it affects how I deal with other women as well. Okay, so that was the last point in which I saw my family. And then the way it was, I was there for a year before I come back to see my family. So what about vacation time? Well, we went to Guardians for vacation. So when you come back a year at that age, and you do that again, you keep doing that, then you treat your mom, and in my case, I treated her somebody that I could communicate on a yearly basis. You understand? So as I grew older and have girlfriends and stuff, I also treat them the same way. But I didn't know that that was the reason why I was treating them that way. It didn't seem strange to me. If I didn't see
Wow.
you in a month or two, fine by me. I'm happy to see you a month later. I'm happy to see you next year. And but if you're not careful, it affects your children too. I have two daughters, and one day the youngest one surprised me. She said, "Oh, you don't help us." I'm surprised. Help. I live in the house, and my children help, but there's a disconnect based upon my past, so that affects my relationships in the future.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking, so that's how it, I guess, how it was. Can I say that's how it was? And when you realize that that was maybe that the habit that you, or the pattern that you have formed, now knowing that, how has that changed how you relate to women and girls? If in fact it has changed. I don't know that it has.
Well, I'm 60 plus right now, right? And that was the age of 7. I realized it maybe a year or two ago. He said, "Oh, it took you 50 years to realize it." I guarantee you, if you don't know it's there, that's what happens. And so, what was the question again? Come again.
I was asking you that now you're
Oh,
like,
now
that
that I've
story was very
realized it.
powerful. Yeah, that you told. And I'm saying now that you're aware that, oh, so that pattern that you had of communicating with your mother has translated into, or transferred into, how you were relating to the women in your life.
Yeah.
Now that you're aware of that, has it changed the way that you communicate with them or relate to them?
Yes and no. But the people I knew 20 years ago, they are gone. The people
Okay.
I knew 30 years ago, they're all gone. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just girls, it's also men too.
Men as well.
I
Okay.
can say I have friends, but where are they? I know two people. I can call them every now and then, in chat. Even there, you know. So how has that changed? It hasn't changed. But going forward,
Mhm.
I'm more conscious and more aware of the people to make an effort towards that. So I can't say it has changed my mind, and now I'm going to show it by my actions. But I'm not perfect too, so you still fall into that pattern.
Okay, so then, yeah, I guess happy belated birthday. I think you said it was for last week. Um, I guess going forward, we're always learning, so it's never too late. I say it's never too
Yeah,
late
but
necessarily
it's
to
never too late. But for the
to change
past,
certain things.
yeah, for the past is
Absolutely.
gone.
And
So
what would you say? What would you say are maybe the three? Because I'm sure there's plenty, but what would you say are the three key or main lessons that you feel you have learned from your mother?
um, well, again, we'll go back to an example. I remember when I was young, she always wants to help. My mom always wants to help me. Even now, she wants to help me. Say, well, what's happening about this situation and this? She wants to help me. But when I was younger, I was like, no, I need to do it myself. So as I was saying, you know, I want to do it myself, which is good for a kid sometimes to learn to do that. But I transfer that also over to my children and to other adults that I meet, and I say, well, if I did it, you also should be able to do it. But what I've learned from her is that it doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter now that the child, which was me, didn't want the mother's help at the time because I do it myself. But still, last a couple of weeks ago, she was asking me about a situation that I've been in for a while, and whether I wanted to resolve that situation. I said, well, I'm not really. It doesn't really matter too much to me. She said, oh, but you put so much effort into it. Can I help you out and stuff like that? I said, oh, it's okay, it's okay. So what I've learned from her is that it doesn't matter the rejection that she got from her child years ago that I don't want her help. She still wants to help. So I've learned that you just you always keep trying, always keep trying. It doesn't matter the rejection. So I learned that from her for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess that's at the forefront of your mind. Anything else you think sticks out for you from what you've learned from her when you look at how your life is now, or how maybe the way that you behave or navigate through life now?
Well, she always trusts God. You know what I'm saying? But she's not perfect. She said, "Oh, this is the way we used to do it." We was looking for help. Somebody talk to God for us. Talk to God for us. She said, "Now, nope. She's going to talk to God herself." And it kind of struck me. You know what I'm saying? We have this thing that sometimes we do. Let's go and let somebody else help us talk to God. God is our Father. God is the creator, is our Father. So it's like asking you now, Emily, oh, now, Emily, come and help me talk to my dad. There's a disconnect right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the last time you asked your brother or your sibling what your dad said, what did your sibling say? He said, you take out the trash. Isn't that what daddy said? You see the implication? Yeah, it means you don't want to talk to your dad. If you don't want to talk to dad, well, I will talk to him for you. But we see him as God. I know God is God. He's a great, awesome creator. But he is the same person who's telling you that you are his child.
Mhm.
Yes. So I learned
um,
that, go talk to daddy yourself. You know, we do corporate worship and stuff like that, but in private, you go talk to your daddy yourself and ask him, is that what you said? Did you tell Kojo to tell me to take out the trash? And daddy said, well, I told you to take out the trash last week, but that's not what I told Kojo to tell you. This is what I told Kojo to tell you. And he gets in and he tells you. I had a good relationship with my dad in a funny sense. Anytime we're fighting or quarreling at a young age, 6 years old, 5 years old, he'll come to me and say, okay, Ken and I are quarreling. He'll tell everybody, Ken and I are having a fight, we're quarreling. And what he'll do is that we'll lock our little pinky fingers. I will lock our little fingers together. We will lock it together. That means I'm quarreling with my dad. You know, that is endearing at later life, but he saw right away that that's a way to get closer in that sense. You know,
And what did your mom do observing this? Or she would say, well, that's between you and your father.
you know, at that time, you're not sure. But you know, the funny thing, I don't know if I could say the funny thing, but you know, I had a doll when I was growing up. I had a male doll, you know. So that's to segue into another portion of the conversation. I had a doll growing up. I'm not perfect, and I still do nasty things and stuff, you know. But give the child a doll. That's what I be give him a male doll. You don't have to give a female doll. And nowadays they say that was in the 60s. Nowadays they say, oh, you know, all the boys have action figures. Well, now you know why boys behave action all the time. You don't give them
Exactly.
dolls, you give them action figures, you know. Give them a doll, you know. Somebody has to take care of the babies that he creates. You know. That's just an aside. Yeah. And so I think my mom maybe that's why they gave me a doll, you know. I'm always having a fight with my dad or whatever. I don't know.
No, but that's, I mean, that's a powerful and a whole other topic in terms of the way we raise our children these days, and how we condition them. We do condition them to be a certain way, and that how, you know, being a man or being a woman, there's only one way to be a woman. There's only one way to be a man. So
Yeah.
that's even powerful there. So the fact that you had the doll then, and you know, I would say that was, you can tell me, but I see the obvious link to the fact that now you're a sculptor, you're a craftsperson, you know.
Right.
um
Yeah. And at some point
so
in time, even though I created something, years down the road, I say, how is that benefiting people? You know what I'm saying? How are they benefiting? How is a woman benefiting from a carving that's called woman? How,
mhm,
and it's not an accusation. Sometimes you react and say, oh God. I say, no, just a simple question. As a Frenchman would say, poser la question. When you pose the question, you get an answer.
exactly. um so I just wanted to delve slightly a bit more into, so the, like your rationale or your inspiration into starting Woman is Key. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
No inspiration, if I may say so. It's something that grows. So, as a teaching point, you know, sometimes, you know, people like to, we look for inspiration and stuff like that. You know, the best way for inspiration is just to do it. And then so what I did was, after college, I went to Legon, and after college, I did national service in Legon as a teaching assistant. And I've always liked art, though. I've always liked art. And so I created a design. It was still a woman, though. It was still a woman. It had earrings and stuff like that. And I hung it up on the wall. And I took it down to the gallery down the street and sold a couple of pieces. But I used wood, but the wood was reacting to the air condition. Okay, somewhere good, somewhere not so good. And I remember one day I put one of the art pieces on a chair, and I sat on it and broke it. Well, I guess it's like they say, that was the last straw. So I needed a new design that would be take care of everything, you know, in my mind. And the first thought that came to me was a woman. So I started drawing it, and then I love architecture, so I use those architectural stencils. So those, they used to use stencils and slide rules and stuff, this and that, and I came up with it with the drawing. So in the sense, that's the inspiration to solve a situation. But God being so wonderful is that within that inspiration itself, within that design, something else can come out of it. But it doesn't come out of it until you yourself are ready to grow into it. Because other people saw the key in it. I saw the woman, but I don't see the key. So over time, the inspiration now takes a life of its own.
Sorry, I thought I lost you. You're still there, right?
Yeah, right here.
um yeah, I mean, I love the whole concept. Obviously it's very in line with the work that I'm doing with Power to Our Mothers Foundation and even the Global Pan-Africanism Network, Queen's Club, often coming from the perspective of in this proverb that we have in Ghana about educate a man, you educate an individual, educate a woman, you educate a nation, you know. But the fact that it's not to the exclusion of anybody, you know, when we look at woman, the mother, it's not to the exclusion of everybody. If anything, that's the way that everybody's included, because the mother doesn't leave anybody behind. So that's very powerful. So what message can I say would you have for women and girls out there, from your heart, either from, you know, coming from the fact that you have women as key, but just when you look at the state of the world now and our women and girls in particular, any message you would like to leave for them?
Well, from my experience, I believe that men and women are the same. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and boys and girls are the same. But your response to that phrase is what the issue is, I think. In the sense that when I say that men and women are the same, then and then somebody might say, "Oh, can she bench press 500 pounds?" I say, "Okay." Even when you say men, all men are the same, I guarantee you, not everybody can do 500 pounds or pick that up. You know. So I think what is happening is that you have to be very careful about that. Is that we are responding to the way men have treated women. Okay, and that is your response, but the response means that you're not still being yourself. You're trying to prove a point, and I'm not listening. You know, and if it takes 50 years for me to listen, you wasted 50 years of your life. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go along that path, but I don't think it should be some club that everybody or every woman goes along that path. I think some need to break away and do specifically what they need to do. So when I say woman is key, I realize that um, the message is not for men on the one sense, it's for women. The reason why it's for women, even though the men, you know, I guarantee you, we're half the trouble, if not three quarters, if not 100% of the trouble. But we may be the trouble based upon our own failings and our own history of a male-centered society. So because of that, you are trying to teach me or punish me or show me out based upon something that I was also not in control of. That way, you must also have the compassion for me that I just can't see it. You understand what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You either have a bad student and a good teacher, a good student and a bad teacher. At the end of the day, the student suffers. So you being the teacher, you need to step up and do something about it. For example, when I say woman is key, I use woman is key in creativity. I, as a man, I use that, but the women are not using it. Okay. For example, woman is key. What is a woman anyway? And let's change the word woman into something else, and you'll find out that when you substitute other words, there's a deeper understanding. So if I say, instead of saying woman is the key or woman is key, I say the female factor is the key. Okay, so what is the female factor? What is factor? In mathematics, factor is an important aspect of any situation. So the female important aspect of any situation in this world is really important. And I use that all the time. If I have an idea, some people say ideas are like seeds, you have to plant them. Okay. Ideas are also like, can I say, the same sort of seed, but it's the seed that the man gives to the woman to create a child. Okay, so I'm using it. I have an idea, and the idea is not going to just come by itself. There must be some sort of relationship with somebody else. Now, if I don't have any help, I have a relationship with myself. Okay, so I have my own idea, but I know that the idea has to be put into something like a womb. So you're wondering, what is a womb? The womb of time. There's no way that child is going to come out unless it's 9 months. I hear with the other creatures that God has created, there are different time cycles. So as a man, I know that I have an idea. I have to put it into the womb of time, and it will deliver if I nurture it. So I'm going to nurture it. I'm not going to leave it to the woman or the other aspect of time in my thought process to let this child come out. And the woman is key has come out as a design, but it has to grow. It's not going to change, stay 1 year old all the time. It has to be fed, and probably best to be fed by the mother's milk. It's close. You see, so I'm using woman as key all the time, but the women are not using woman as key. I'm not saying you're not using it in the sense that you also don't have ideas. I'm saying that if you're not careful, you're responding to my behavior to you, my flippant behavior that a man or a person might have to you, or in my case, I don't talk to you for a whole year. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I don't understand what all this fuss is about female this and female that. It's not that I don't know. I just don't understand. And then the argument continues. Oh, you know, but you just don't want to accept it. Okay. You know, I'm hungry. And you say there's pizza in the fridge. I'm hungry. You say fufu is ready. And I'm not eating. What does that tell you? You know, and so he knows he just doesn't want to do it. So just like my mom, 50 years later, you got to find a way into that person's heart. When you convince him sufficiently enough, he will do it. So I think that I'm using that aspect, and it's not a new thing. You know, we've been told this since the beginning of time. You've probably been told this also, that you can do it. You know, but sometimes we need to rephrase the thing for the help of other people. Now, based upon my experience, I'm going to rephrase the concept of humanity into this way for at least one woman. I'm going to go out there out of 6 billion people and look for that one woman. And you ask me, for example, but there are not 6 billion women in the world, there are only 3 billion. No, that's where the problem is. Because of my behavior towards you, you have decided to divide the world into half and say, women this, women that. And I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying you're being forced to do that. And there's a Chinese proverb in the book that I read about China. Be careful your response to your enemy. Why? Because your enemy is setting the thing up. He's not consciously setting it up. He's forcing you to put half of your resources into just doing something, and you have to be careful of that. Because a lot of your subconscious or your attitude should be towards you yourself. Who are you? You're God's creation, and He's made a purpose for you. So, well, there are no opportunities. You're going to do the same thing as men. That's the tragedy. You know, I need to wake up. I need to wake up in the morning and pray too. I need to get some action into my heart too. I need to look in the mirror and say, I'm going to do it. You know, and opportunities are there for men more than women, but you're going to have to do it as a woman too. And it's sad that when a woman stands in front of women and says she's going to do it, it comes across as being too macho, too this, too that. You know, they tell me the same thing myself. They don't say I'm too macho because I'm a man. They want to tell me something else. You know, so I think that woman is key. That's what I'm going to do that thing, and then I'm going to make the effort to get it across.
Thank you. Wow. It definitely does give you another perspective of how we look at things, and it does make me think of, yeah, everything is cause and effect. Everything. And the thing with cause and effect is that it's not affected by emotion. You know, you put something in, you get something out. It's, you know, yeah, that's really powerful.
But if you want to create design, just draw it. It says it only looks like a box. Oh, I guarantee you there's somebody out there who know what to do with that box. You know, that's where
exactly
comes in. There's somebody already got a rocket to go to the moon. He doesn't know who there are no passengers. And you're afraid to design a concept of putting people on the moon because you have no rocket. You're wasting your time. You just need to create it and see what comes out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that was the message for our women and girls. But do you have any particular message, I guess, for your brothers, the men, in terms of how they relate to women and girls in their lives?
Well, one message, of course, your past will always flow into
Sorry, say that again, please.
I say your past, whatever happened in your past, and it's not a moral question. It's not a moral thing that you did something bad or did something good in the past. You know, you acted in the past, and you
Mhm.
acted because you thought it was right, or you thought it was wrong, and you still did it anyway. You are mean as anything. Maybe that's who you are, but it's gonna flow into the future, and you're conscious of that. You make conscious decisions based upon that. If you have daughters, my daughters are grown now, 20 something. I'm need to be conscious and go back and say, oh, do you need something? I know each one is different, so some of them don't want to be asked like that. So you just have to say, how's this and how's that? You know, you put two and two together, as they say, and you figure it out. So that from the man's point of view, remember the past is controlling your, not controlling. What's that word? Men don't like to be controlled. So let me change the language. Like I'm saying, communication is so important. You need to change the language so that he gets the point. When he gets the
Yeah.
point, he's gonna do it. Don't force the man. You know, he can't, because his response is what you're now going to be dealing with. So that's first point for the man. Second point, we are given a position of responsibility. If God says everybody is equal from the beginning, and history has not shown that, and we have dominated history for hundreds and hundreds of years, well, then it's over to you. You got the problem, you fix it. You know, and the word problem, people like to say, Ghana has a problem. Ghana has a this. You know what? You know, a mathematical problem is a mathematical equation. Is that right? What equation do you have? I have 4 plus 4. And what's the answer? We might not know the answer, but we look at it and say, so we don't have problem in Ghana. We have equations. You know how to solve equations? The mindset changes. Oh, of course we can solve the equation. If it's a 4 equation, and what is 4 made out of? 4 is made out of 4 ones or 8 halves, whatever. In other words, you make it easy for yourself. Because I'm a sculptor. If it's not easy to overcome the wood, I guarantee you, I don't do it. I don't say that to you. But when it becomes difficult, I resist difficult. Doesn't mean that I don't create art that you think is difficult, but I don't. It's because I take my mind to the place where I'm going to solve this equation. I've been given this thing. This is the equation. And if you're a lady, and it's no offense, these are the ingredients of the soup. You put it together. You fry the onions first. You put oil first. It's an equation. It's a step by step. Okay. So the men need to understand that we have been given a position of responsibility. You need to do it. Okay. So in my in oh, before I get lost, as a creative person, my mind is thinking of something else at the same time. Now, what's the third point um, for men? So one, you've the past, and two, you are responsible. And as somebody told me, the word responsible makes hurts you sometimes, makes you feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? But break it up.
Mm-mm.
Break it up. Response able. You a man. Are you able to respond to this situation? No, you're not being responsible. But it takes the head and the cut out of it. Are you responding to it? You're not. You're leaving the trash in the streets. You're leaving it in the gutters. You're not. I said, I'm not responsible for it because I didn't do the trash. I know you didn't. But are you able to respond to it? No. There you go. You fix it. If you want to
Yeah,
clean the gutters, you go down there and clean it yourself. Then you know what it's like, from my point of view.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Responsible.
yeah,
I like that,
response
response
able.
able.
Yeah,
Um, but equally for me, accountable. You know, at the end of the day,
uh-huh.
um, if you are the one that takes responsibility, as in, takes it upon yourself to manage something, well, then that gives you control. I don't mean control in a bad or good way, but it enables you to to have more of a say in what it is that happens, as opposed to you feeling like something happens to you. You know, you're an artist, so you're a creator. We're all creators in our own
Yeah,
rights in different ways.
yeah,
So anything, absolutely anything that we create, we must be responsible for that. You know, whether it's, like I say, bad or good. So I definitely get that. Um,
I think I missed
Wow.
one point about my. Ask me the question again about what my message is to the men. Is that what you're saying? I think there's
Sorry?
something I'm trying to figure out what it is. Actually, you asked me what's my message to the men.
Yes. And you said you were talking about firstly the basically your past is your past, whether it's bad or good. You know you don't live there. But what I got was that you can get lessons from that to go forward. And then the last thing you were saying um, was about the what you just said, like be responsible, be
Yeah.
responsible for who you are.
Because if we are macho, we rule the world. Okay, then you do it.
Pardon?
If I say if we are macho people and we rule the world, men rule, and we are
Yeah.
alpha, then you do it.
Um, I
You know what
wonder
I'm
if
saying? Yeah.
yes. No, we have a comment from one of our viewers, and I wonder if you have any response for that, or you would like to respond to that. Otherwise, I can.
Oh, sure. Let me
Can you
read it.
see it?
Do you
Yes,
mind if
sure,
I read it?
sure.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to be creative here. Female factor, okay, is important aspect. But what about the human aspect? It's time to look over gender and religion. Okay. Equally and strongly together, we will develop this great nation. The problem with my brothers, they can't tolerate strong women by their side in the government and other developments arena. Okay. What you're saying is absolutely true. But what's the solution? If they can't tolerate it, why do you push it to him? You got to find a way around it. And
Mm,
at the end of the day, have you solved the equation? Okay. Now, the problem with my brothers, they can't tolerate strong women by their side. Let's change that a little bit. The equation with my brothers is they can't tolerate strong women by their side. So change the equation. Break down the equation for him. If this equation, I'm just simplifying it, is a 4 plus 4 equation, and the person doesn't understand it. You know something? I asked a teacher once, it was a woman. There's so much wisdom in women. Anyway, I asked a female teacher. I asked her, I said, 2 plus 2 is 4. Why do you need to have an equal 4? You know that? Whatever the problem is, that is the solution itself. You know what
mhm,
the lady teacher told me? She said, because she wants to know your comprehension of it. You get what I'm saying?
mm,
How you understand it is how the teacher is trying to help you out. So
mhm,
it's same with life. The men don't tolerate women by their side. Okay, at the end of the day, you're going to live 50 years with men not tolerating women. I would suggest change the word problem to the word equation, not to help. It's not you're not helping the man. You're helping you yourself because you saw the problem. If you see the problem, you see the equation like the teacher, you know the answer. But in school, you can't go and tell the teacher that. If the teacher is funny. The teacher says, I'm giving you homework. And then you ask the teacher, well, do you know the answer to the homework yourself? If you know it, why are you asking me? You get an F right there, right? You fail. So you arguing with a person, it doesn't work, in my opinion. Change the word problem to equation. If it's a 4 plus
mm.
4 equation that the men do not tolerate strong women, well, break it down for him. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. It's okay, I'm going to tell my husband 1 plus 1 plus 1. No, you tell yourself first. You fix the problem in your mind first, but be at
Mhm,
peace with it. It's an equation.
mm,
Turn it around a little bit. The equal sign is not a problem. It's the comprehension. We're trying to find the comprehension, the teacher. God is trying to find your comprehension. But, we don't want to use God because it's like religion. Like I was saying about the father thing, you know, you can't overthrow religion because religion gives you structure. And the structure has become evil structure on some people because the people themselves are evil. It's not the religion, it's the evil. Even in the
exactly.
Bible, it says good religion is this, that
Mhm,
you love each other, you take care of the widow. There is religion. The question is, what are you, um, how you interpreting it?
mhm.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah, that is powerful. I like that. It's true. We often see the problems.
It's not a problem. It's an equation.
or the equations,
Yeah,
I still say problems because until you're able to see that, you see it as a problem. But in any case, whether it's a problem or an equation, we're still looking for an answer, isn't it? We're still looking to how to get to
you're not
the
looking
end.
for it. No,
Pardon?
in my opinion, no. If we say there's a problem, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you're looking for it. Is that right? Yes. If it's an equation, you might not know it, but you know where the answer is. The teacher has it. He gave you the homework. There's a less stress in the person trying to exhibit the thing. You know,
So you're
that's
saying that as an equation, there's always an answer, but then you still need. So you still what? Then you need to find the person who has the answer.
you don't. I'm just giving you that as the line of logic that we have in our education system. That
Okay.
if I tell you 2 + 2 equals, and that's the homework, is that right? It could be
Mm,
complicated. It could be Pythagoras theorem. This. It could be. I'm not saying it's a simple equation. I just want to make it simple, just for the understanding. When you have the
yeah.
understanding, then you can move forward. I'm
Hmm.
saying that if it's the two, whatever the equation, however complex it is, somebody has the answer. And so who is the person has the answer? No. Back up a little bit. 2 + 2 is equal to what? It was given to you by somebody. It's given to you by the teacher. Now, if it's a problem in life, it could be given to you by social problems. I'm not saying that it's not
Hmm.
complex like you're saying. All I'm saying is that the, the, if it's a 2 + 2 and you're going to do the homework, I know the children will be, oh, they're scratching their head. What's this? What's this? Do you know that 2 + 2 is 4? It's not
Yeah.
equal to 4. It is 4. It's you who does not know the answer.
Mhm.
So it's not that you're looking for the answer. I have the answer. I just need a revelation of it. And the revelation is
Mm.
with the teacher, but you need to go through the process and bring it for her to mark it and give you a structure. And when you fails you and does not pass you through the understanding of it, then you have trouble over 300, 400, 500 years. I'm just saying that every problem in and of itself is the answer. And people say that all the time, but it's not easy to
Mm.
conceptualize it. But 2 + 2 is 4. And I asked the lady, I'm gonna ask a guy, I said, why do you ask me this question? She said, I want to know your comprehension. She doesn't want to know the answer.
Mhm.
Oh, she knows the answer. Everybody knows the answer. Work hard,
Mm.
clean up the trash. No, I want to know your comprehension of it. I could be wrong, but that's what she said.
Mm. Yeah, it's fine. Um, this is a good question. Should women ask them? I assume should women ask men why men find it difficult to accept strong women? Yes, we say women as in women, men with wombs. So
I have a move my mind or whatever. I have not yet arrived at the point of understanding fully what a woman is, but I'm not going to. I can move forward with it. So I'm thinking that what's the question again? Should women ask?
should should women ask men why they find it difficult to
Why?
accept strong
Okay,
women?
you are the teacher, for
I
example.
should.
Everybody's a teacher. You've given it. We have an equation. We have a problem, and the problem is the men don't understand this. You're going back to the child, this 4-year-old child, this 8-year-old child in your class. Why don't you
Mhm,
understand 2 + 2? You're wasting your time. They don't
mhm,
understand it. You are the teacher. You need to teach them. How do you teach them? Well, you can use a whip to teach them. You can yell at them. The student, I'm trying to create a parallel thinking. Now, remember this. People like to argue. Everybody thinks he's right. I think I'm right. You think you're right. The lady asking the question thinks she's right. Okay? And it's same with religion. Oh, is this, that. God is this, God is that. No, no, no. Have parallel conversations. Parallel. That means I'm gonna. This is the way I'm gonna argue with you about it, and this is the way you're gonna argue with me about it, and we're gonna go along. We will never come together until we start to change a little bit. Now, if you are the smart one, you are the woman, you are the teacher, and you know that the men are doing this. You are the teacher. You see the equation. Okay, and now you are yelling at the kid. Why don't you know what 2 plus 2 is? I mean, 2 plus 2 right now is easy, but I'm just saying, okay, Pythagoras theorem to the fourth power in this on that minus this. What is the X factor? That's complicated. There are complicated issues between men and women. But I'm just saying that you, the woman, have recognized it.
Mhm.
You're yelling at the guy. And you know what? When you yell at somebody, what does he do? He takes a defense to defend, and the question is not being answered. Like somebody asked me, when was the last time you talked to your mom? I was offended. Why? Because there was a hurt. But I didn't know there was a hurt because I did the same thing that somebody does when he's hurt. So later on, you're thinking that, how come you behave that way? Pull back to just words. See,
Mm.
it's coming across as an accusation. And people don't like to be accused. And even if they
Yeah.
did like to be accused, you're wasting your time because his response is a fight response. You need to pull him in. I did karate for some years, okay, and I also do it mentally. And there's a fight, and when we say fight, we're not saying it's a street fight or necessarily that, but in the training, at the end of every training, there's going to be a fight, okay. Unless you change the word from fight to combat, and you say to me, combat is the same as fight. Fine, fine. But if I say that at the end of the training is going to be combat, that means it's not a bad thing. We're going to combat
Mm.
each other, boom, 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 according to the rules, and get at this thing. So by changing the word right away, we get a better response from the person. Now, this big, huge guy, and I'm small. We're going to have a combat, not a fight. Because if it's a fight, it's, oh, this guy's going to beat me. If it's a combat, no, it's a part of the training. So your husband or whatever men do in the world is this big burly guy, and he thinks he's all this and all that. He thinks he's so smart, even if he's not smart. The system has taught him for 400 years that he's smart. What are you going to do? You're going to yell at him in the combat training of this karate that I used to do. Am I going to insult him, get him more upset? No. I'm going to draw him in and bah, I strike him. But I've used the word strike. So people on the show might be thinking, oh, is he going to hit her husband? No. No. You're not going to hit him. No. You're going to draw him into the conversation. Then boom. You know what I'm saying? And you're not
Yeah.
trying to get to his intellect. No. He's already showed you what his intellect is. You got to get to his heart. Then the heart will go to the mind, and the mind will act. He doesn't know that you are the most wonderful thing in the world. Neither did I. And I still don't know. But I'm not going to let that separate me. Don't
Yeah.
let it separate me. You're the smart one. You're the wise person. That's my two pesos, as they say.
That is so powerful. Essentially, we need to change our vocabulary so that some of these, a lot of these, I guess, negative connotations that we have, I guess, with the everyday language, everyday words we use, it would actually enable us to see things for what they are. So what you say, what I agree with, is that yes, the mother figure is the teacher. So why are we asking the child for the answers? why are we asking the child to why it is, when actually if we ask ourselves,
you need to ask yourself, you're passing on the education to the child.
Yes.
You ask your significant other, this is the question we have. I need the answer tomorrow as a form of homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he doesn't do it, what do? You give him an F. But you're the one living with him. Yeah, you're the one living with him.
I love this analogy. That is so powerful. Uncle Ken, Mr. Ken Gwira, for everybody else, my Uncle Ken. Thank you so much. You have shared a lot with us today in this short time, but definitely I know you have given us and others a lot of food for thought. I am thinking. So Yes, we bid you farewell. We're at the end of the program. My last question to you, Uncle Ken, is that if you have anything now, that a parting message for the viewers of anything else that you'd like to say.
Well, I'm glad to be on this show for starters. You know,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
communicating.
Wonderful. Okay, so we should stay tuned for more about Woman is Key and what is coming. And
And like I said, you know, if you don't understand woman is key, I'm going to do everything. Show you to prove it to you that is.
wonderful.
But it's not something new. Don't stop your religion, whatever religion you have, and come and make woman is key a religion. It's not a religion.
No.
I'm just telling you. You don't know, I tell you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a revelation. You know, the word revelation has become so spiritual and everything.
Yes.
I mean, you have children, right? Listen, try this tonight. Okay. You have them all in their bedroom, and then tell them that, listen, guys, we're going to turn off the light. So when you turn off the light, does everything vanish? Do all the toys that are in the way scurry away and vanish? No. Ask them. It's oh, mommy, don't be silly. You just can't see it. You get the thing? You can't see it. And the spirit, your spirit is God's light in you. You can't see the woman. It's wonderful. The man can't see it. You know, you're yelling at the kids. Where are the toys when the light is off? You know, and the funny thing is that they don't care to trip over their own toys. Oh man, and they found the action figure that they lost 2 years ago. It's not 2 years. You know, they think 2 weeks is 2 years. You know, have a good imagination. It's you the one who's tripping over the toys. You know, turn on the light. And so I turn on the light. No, you need to be the light. Your spirit is God's light in the world. So you turn it on. You have to be smart too. Are you going to turn on the light with wet fingers? You know, electricity and those two, they don't go together. You know, so you do your homework. I guarantee you, the teacher does her homework before she gives you the homework. She knows what 2 + 2 is. She knows what Pythagoras theorem is. It's you who doesn't know. Yeah, as if you are a woman and you know that. And so a part in short is that creating children is not. Remember, even though we say women should be at home and take care of children, it's the most profound thing that could ever be done. But you're not taking it to the next level, maybe because the men are not allowing you to. If somebody's not allowing you, you have to find a way around it. And, you know, be creative, don't find a way around it in a clandestine way. I'm just saying that you need to recognize that even ideas, businesses are born of the imagination. Listen to the word. Born of the imagination. That's what I'm telling you, the woman is key. You know, you just have to grasp it, but you have to be careful. The world is full of men, okay? So you're not going to stick it to him and say, oh, I figured it out. Even to have a business, it's like a child. You got to get an idea from somewhere. But I can't tell you this unless by revelation, because I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
I have revelation of it, but it's not revelation of a religious nature. Revelation, it is showing me that this thing exists all the time. You know, but you, the woman, don't know that the creation of businesses is the same as a child. You have it, you know it is how it's done.
Yeah.
You might go to the tax office and the guy doesn't want to give you this unless you give him that. You know, those are the obstructions in the way. I guarantee you, you have the experience of creating these things. We could double the GDP of any nation if we come to terms with it. That's what I think.
Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ken Gwira, Uncle Ken. Yeah, there's some lovely comments that have been posting. Just the fact that you are really getting us to think is a great awareness. Like I said, thinking about how we approach things. It's wonderful. I'm very honored to have you on the platform. And to the viewers, thank you for joining us. As always, thank you for engaging and the questions. And join us again, same time next week, 2 p.m. next week, Sunday, for our next episode of Mothering Sunday. And yes, Uncle Ken, I think I would love to have you back on the show again. Sometime we can arrange it if you would honor me with that.
Homework.
I'll give you homework. Yes.
Yeah. You send me some questions so I can do some research.
Okay, no problem. Wishing everybody else a wonderful rest of your Sunday wherever you are. Until next week, I'm Na Amelia Santiamar signing off. Take care.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye.